how are you doing? Welcome back. This is my second fishing video. I did a poll on Instagram and you guys wanted to see my shiner setup. So this is an idea that came up between like me, my dad, and my brother. Before, I would have to go to the store every time to pick up shiners, and this is something we've done before, but the other time it didn't work out and they would just die all the time. And so the first week we did it, we actually put them in like a bucket a little bit bigger than this, and they all died. So we couldn't go fishing that weekend, but we settled on the cooler idea. And so my dad bought a filter. He brought some tubing from his work, cut some holes in this bucket, and he put some filters in there. And then we also have an aerator going. So my dad works at a marine shop, and what he did is he got a Fleet Guard air filter that's for like boats and stuff, and he cut it up into squares, and there's probably 3 to 4 squares in there, and there's also a darker gray filter that so with these with minnows and shiners, I don't know why, but they give off a lot of like slime and they shit a lot, and it just makes the water smell, and it makes the water like foamy, and so you have to really pay attention to trying to keep the water as clean as possible, temperature oriented, and make sure you feed them if you want to. You don't necessarily need to feed them, but the filter, I think, it plays a big part in keeping these shiners alive, because we don't have one filter, we have 2 filters. We have this filter that my mom bought off Amazon for like 20 bucks. It's an internal air filter, and it can be for aquariums, fountains, or gardens, whatever you choose, but we put it in here, and inside this longer part, as you can see, there's 2 filters, and then we also have our bucket filter, which it gets filtered through this already, and then goes through that tube and gets filtered through those filters. So there's double filtration, and we've probably had these shiners in here for a little over a week. The water doesn't smell, so clearly the filter's doing wonders. There's no dead fish, and they're lively. And then my dad has treated them with 2 things. This you can get at any pet store. It's AquaSafe. It's by Tetra. You can use it for like betta fish or whatever, but it still works for these fish as well too, because they're all small grade fish. And then I bought this on Amazon. It's called Finer Shiner. And what you do is, depending on the gallons of water you use, for every 5-gallon bucket, you will use 1 teaspoon of this stuff, and that helps treat the water and keep it kind of this, if you notice, like a bluish teal color. And that's what it looks like. They're kind of like rocks, and they're like blue, and it helps treat the water and keep the shiners alive. And then also, like I said, when the water gets filthy and dirty, it foams up a lot, and so we also ordered some foam off from Amazon. But honestly, if you take a look, the water is really clear and there's no foam, and it doesn't smell at all. You can't tell. Obviously you can't smell through the foam, but it doesn't smell at all, and the water is really clear, and the shiners seem to be doing well. I can give you a look over there. They're all hanging out in the corner. They like the corner because that's where the filter is, and I think that's where the most aeration is too, because that's where the aerator is. But overall, it's been a little bit of a learning experience, but I think it's very beneficial for me, my dad, and my brother, because we don't have to, wait on the store anymore. The store opens at 9 and then closes at 3. So their business hours are shortened, obviously, due to Corona, but I don't have to, work my day around their hours and trying to get shiners, I can just come downstairs in my own house, grab some shiners, and toss them in my bait bucket. And then with that, like, I have multiple bait buckets, but you can use a big one like this, or my dad uses this bait bucket, and he uses an aerator, like a little aerator, just to keep them alive longer. But I don't personally use an aerator in mine. I just have a small bucket, toss like 12 in there. But depending on your bucket size, like the reason I think the shiners died before was the space that they were living in. I don't think a 5 to 10 gallon drum is big enough for 5 to 6 dozen shiners. I think the most important thing is treating the water, making sure they have enough space, and the oxygen. So with you, if you want to use an aerator when you go out into the woods, that's a preference thing for you. Like my dad uses one, I don't. But overall, I think it's a really good setup, and we're almost out of shiners, so we're going to pick up some more, and that'll probably be our next video, going to the shop, meeting probably one of the owners, going through the process of buying shiners and stuff like that. But that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope there was a lot of information shared, and you know, if you got any feedback, if you have similar situations with you having shiner setups, or asking any questions on how to set up your own shiner setup, I can help you out if you need. Leave some comments, likes, subscribe, and have a good day.